Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to jump into something truly incredible, the idea that the food on your plate can be one of the most powerful tools you have to protect your brain.
I mean, just think about this for a second. What if the most effective pharmacy you could ever visit was actually your own kitchen? That's the powerful idea we're going to unpack today, connecting the dots between your meals and the long-term health of your mind.
All right, so first things first. Before we can talk about the fix, we really need to get a handle on the problem. And that problem is something scientists call chronic inflammation.
You know, when we hear inflammation, we usually think of a sprained ankle, and that's acute inflammation. It's your body's amazing healing response. But chronic inflammation? That's totally different. It's like a fire alarm that's been quietly smoldering for years and years, often fueled by our modern diet and lifestyle. It's a silent fire simmering away inside us.
And wow, the stakes here are incredibly high. This silent fire is connected to nearly every major disease you can think of. Heart disease, diabetes, you name it. But for this explainer, we're zooming in on that last one on the list, because the link between this internal fire and cognitive decline, including Alzheimer's disease, is just too important to ignore.
Okay, that all sounds pretty scary, right? But here's the pivot, and it's fantastic news. We are not helpless here. In fact, we have an entire squad of firefighters at our disposal, right in our kitchens.
Now, this is maybe the most important takeaway of the day. Forget about finding one single magic bullet superfood. The science is overwhelming on this. The best strategy is an overall pattern of eating. And the gold standard, the diet with the most powerful evidence for cooling that inflammation, is the Mediterranean diet.
But how? How does a plate of food literally put out a fire inside your body? This is where it gets really cool. Let's look under the hood at the secret weapons these foods have hiding inside. It all comes down to these tiny little powerhouses called bioactive compounds. Just think of them as nature's microscopic firefighters. They're the specific chemicals in plants that have a direct positive effect on our biology, going to work at the cellular level.
So let's meet the team. First up, you've got polyphenols. Think of these as the special forces. You find them in colorful foods like berries, green tea, and even dark chocolate. They go in and shut down the master switch that cranks up inflammation. Then you have the omega-3s from things like salmon and walnuts. These guys are the cleanup crew. They produce these amazing molecules called resolvins that literally resolve inflammation and tell the body to stand down. And finally, you have good old fiber. It's not just for digestion, it's the food for our healthy gut bacteria. And when they're well fed, they produce compounds that cool inflammation all over the body. It's a team effort.
Okay, so that's the whole team. Now let's put one of these players under the microscope to see just how incredibly powerful this can be in action.
And our superstar for this case study? It's a true cornerstone of that Mediterranean diet. Extra virgin olive oil, or EVO. It's the perfect example because it is absolutely packed with some of the most potent polyphenols we know of. Inside that golden oil, you've got this heroic trio. Now, the names are a bit of a mouthful. Hydroxytyrosol, oleuropein, oleocanthal, but you don't need to remember the names. Just remember what they do for your brain, because it is remarkable.
And this is where it all just clicks into place. This is from a major review in Frontiers in Nutrition, and it shows exactly how these compounds fight the key signs of Alzheimer's. Oleuropein helps stop that sticky amyloid plaque from building up in the first place. Oleocanthal acts like a bouncer, helping escort those toxic proteins out of the brain. And hydroxytyrosol steps in to deal with another problem protein called tau, all while boosting our brain cells' energy packs. It's not one single action, it's a coordinated defense.
I mean, listen to this. This is a direct quote from the study. The scientists themselves call it a compelling multi-targeted therapeutic strategy with significant potential to delay the progression of AD. That is a huge statement. This isn't just a nice idea, it's serious science pointing to the power in our pantries.
Okay, mind-blowing science, right? But what does this all mean for you when you're standing in the grocery store aisle? Let's make this super practical. This is your playbook.
Honestly, it's simpler than you might think. On one side, you have the foods to eat more of, the firefighters. We're talking real whole foods, plants, whole grains, beans, healthy fats. On the other side, the foods to avoid. These are the fire starters, the ultra-processed stuff, sugary junk, white bread, you know the culprits. It's just as much about what you leave out as what you put in.
So here it is, your anti-inflammatory shopping list, broken down by our key players. You need fiber? Grab every color of fruit and veggie you can find. Need omega-3s? Go for fatty fish or walnuts. And for those all-star polyphenols, berries, green tea, and yes, a little bit of dark chocolate. This is your arsenal.
And remember, the goal here isn't to be perfect overnight. This isn't some miserable diet. It's a lifestyle shift. If you just remember one simple rule, let it be this. Try to eat more foods that grew out of the ground and a lot fewer that came out of a package.
So, at the end of the day, the power really is on your fork. Every single meal is a choice. It's a chance to either fan those silent flames or to start putting out the fire. So the real question is, what are you going to put on your plate?